Look, everyone keeps getting mad at me. I can't believe he's still milking this. Look, all I'm going to say is stop watching the videos and I'll stop posting them. So it's come to my attention that a guy called Nettles has been doing a series where he has also been reading through the Google document. I've seen a small snippet where he does mention me in another part, and I know that his next video, at the time of recording this, his next video isn't out yet, but it's about me and Erod. And I know that based on what he said in one of his videos, I don't think he's going to be the most flattering about me. It is responding, I'm assuming, to my involvement, which was 6 years ago, and I was a little back then, so it's probably going to be valid. But anyway, I did get a lot of comments saying that I got the wrong end of the stick about certain things, particularly involving Lindsay Ellis, who the internet really doesn't like anymore, and Dan Olsen, who, I'll be honest, I know nothing about Dan Olsen. So I've also been informed that Nettles isn't a big fan of my bae, Holly. So we're going to go through this impartially and just see what he has to say about my side chick, Holly Brown. Let's go impartial, okay? We're going to see what Nettles has to say, and let's go. Did you guys see that? Sorry, Nettles, it's not the best start, but look, you can see right at the start that he's got the handle down, so he's obviously left the room to start the take. And he didn't edit out him setting the scene for the take, so it's awkwardly at the start. Nettles. I'm just saying, man. Anyway, is your wardrobe door hanging off its hinges? I'm really sorry, you haven't even spoke yet, but you've put it on the internet.
I'm bored. And you know what I do when I'm bored? I spend hours talking and laughing at petty internet drama from 6 years ago that nobody cares about anymore.
Same! But look at your views compared to your subs, Nettles. People clearly do still care. That's the thing, I keep getting comments. No one cares about this anymore. They get more views than my other videos. And then I get judged. You're just milking this cow dry. Yes, I am. Not even hiding it. I need the views. I need relevancy. Why are you mad, bro?
Alright, to say this website defined a generation is a bit of an understatement. It was the brainchild of Doug and Rob Walker, two brothers from Chicago who had this dream of becoming internet comedians.
So I just have to say that you have an amazing voice. I feel like I'm going to enjoy this series. You've got a great voice for narration. But he is right. Like, back in the day, everyone wanted to be on this site. And it sounds really cringy now to, like, you really needed that, I don't know, acceptance on the internet. But back then, making reviews, you would do anything to get on that guy with the glasses. It was ridiculous.
The nostalgia critic, who is a loud and antagonistic, foul-mouthed movie critic that got irrationally and absurdly angry at bad films and media so old that they didn't warrant that level of anger.
Bat credit card? No!
Well, I mean, you say he didn't warrant that kind of... The joke was that you revisit something that you loved as a kid and then you realise it doesn't actually hold up, and that's what made him angry. I also love the back credit card thing. Linkara twice has tried to, like, crush that meme. He did one actually with Doug in it, and he says that how it's not that silly a thing, and then when people ripped on him and said, hey, Lewis, that doesn't make any sense, he did another part, again trying to prove himself right. Lewis, it's dumb. I think Linkara was just mad that Doug was successful and had a funny running joke. He was pissed off because Doug had a meme that didn't involve him having sex with an M&M or that stupid Lightbringer comic.
I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! All of you will die! Stupid! 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 Stupid!
Do you know what? I used to judge people for liking the Fred stuff, but this was comedy gold back in the day. It looks weird now in 2025, explaining this to friends who never watched Doug growing up, and they're just like, you liked this? Yes! It was funny!
Now, this site is actually famous for launching the careers of internet personalities such as Angry Joe, Lindsay Ellis, Linkara, and more.
He says and more. He just means... Dom?
The company still exists. Doug Walker is still doing the Nostalgia Critic videos and enjoys a relatively consistent upload schedule and still has an audience.
You know what, like, when all of this, I'll be honest, I still watch the Nostalgia Critic. As of, like, probably New Year, I started watching them again because he's got a new studio. It's not bad. It's obviously not the glory days. It has its moments. His review of Trap actually had me in stitches. That was one of the funnier ones I've seen in a good long time. That was one that actually felt like an old episode. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Over the years, Channel Awesome would become infamous for accusations of poor working conditions, sexism, abuse, and even people going as far as to claim the company committed fraud by stealing from its fans via Kickstarter campaign.
Meanwhile, Erod puts a cheap eBay Batman costume up for sale, charges people $100. I forgot to mention that, didn't they? But it was worn by Erod, who is this YouTube sensation. So it's worth that money.
After Channel Awesome released a response saying, "We're sorry you feel that way," basically not apologizing for any of these allegations.
I was going to do a video reacting to Channel Awesome's responses. To be fair, you know, do the same treatment. And then I found out about these videos and this just seemed like a better idea. If you want to see that, who cares? I'll probably do it anyway.
Out of the ashes of Channel Awesome's former contributors came #ChangeTheChannel, which I guess was supposed to turn into this like #MeToo-esque movement exposing Channel Awesome for being this abusive corporation that exploited hard-working innocent people, but that's kind of just what they want you to think. See, on the surface, it appears to be legitimate given the sheer size of it, but if you actually take the time to read through this thing and all of the grievances, it's just a bunch of nothing.
Okay, Nettles is cooking. He's not going to pull any punches.
Like, there's nothing here, man. It's whining. It's a manipulative 70-page whine fest, crying about small and petty slights and non-issues that have been repeated ad nauseum to make it look like a bigger deal than it actually was.
Thank you. I feel like this guy's going to be a lot more savage than me.
Despite a lot of the issues either not being that bad, making no sense, or being the fault of the person who aired the grievance in the first place. A good chunk of them have no evidence to back up their claim, and one of the bigger accusations actually implicates someone in the document itself, thus turning most of these people into complete hypocrites.
I'm going to assume that that's referring to Holly protecting a sexual predator. I did cover that in my reaction. You know, I'll come to that once he gets to it, and we'll see what he's got to say about that, okay? Because it's not entirely accurate, that statement. Hey, it's me! I had hair. 40 plus people saying all this stuff. They're not all lying. They're not all lying. They're not all lying, but they do. People do dogpile. This was before everyone lied about me. So, or most people. Some people. A few people lied about me, alright?
Given there's a lot of people who hate Doug Walker for petty reasons, like not thinking he's funny or thinking he's a bad reviewer.
This is the thing, like, people they on Doug for, like, saying certain things about movies they like. They did it before, you know, I did that video last year about a certain paedophile wizard. Some people made videos about him and started talking about his movie takes. I mentioned illegal activities and they're like, yes, I can't believe he likes Attack of the Clones.
They probably were more content with preying on people's mob mentality rather than actually tell the truth. Yeah, these people lie a lot too.
Yes, they do.
One thing you should understand before you read is that nobody here is an innocent victim. Okay, nobody. These are not innocent victims. You have so many people who see themselves as the good guys and refuse to take any responsibility for their own mistakes because it's so much easier to dogpile someone and displace blame rather than admit you were the one who was wrong. This whole thing was written mostly by naive young people who joined the site fresh out of high school or were just starting college, who saw Doug Walker's videos and thought, ooh, all you gotta do to make money is sit in front of a camera and rant about things that you don't like? I can do that. Sure beats a stupid 9 to 5.
Do you know when Eminem got famous? Every white guy just saw another white guy bitching about his mum and his ex, and they were like, I can do that! But they didn't realise why Eminem was so successful, what made him successful. They just saw the base surface of it. That's online producers with Doug Walker. They saw the Nostalgia Critic, like you said, screaming, and they were like, yep, that's me, sign me up. Nettles, I'm already liking you. I'm intrigued to see what you're going to say about me, because you don't pull any punches, and you're just saying straight to the point, you don't f*** around. Just straight out saying All of these people, most of these people, are liars. They're not victims, they're crying for attention, and it's their own fault. Fair play, man.
And they just jumped in with no idea how businesses or the real world works, and now they have massive egg on their faces that they're still trying to wash off to this day. For example, one of the many complaints is that they were not employed by Channel Awesome. Channel Awesome simply embedded videos onto their site.
So this is another thing. They constantly point out that they weren't employed, but yet they use the terminology that they were fired. How can you be fired if you weren't employed?
A lot of these people stayed on this site for years at a time, despite knowing this fact. None of them were contractually obligated to be there. They literally could have left the site anytime they wanted, but they decided to stay.
It's true. Like, you're coming out years after the fact to say we were but you did stay. And like they say that because that guy with the glasses / Channel Awesome was their main source of income and their main source of viewership. But then you complain that you weren't promoted. So you've got enough income from the site, but you weren't promoted enough. And you're not bitter about Doug's success, but you clearly need him to get views. Otherwise, you wouldn't be complaining that you stayed on the site for so long. It doesn't make sense. And do you know what, really? You know what? I'm just going to say it here. Holly, I think her grievances were valid, right? But all of that happened in 2013. And where were all of you then, motherfuckers? I'm sorry. She went through hell. And there was nothing. There was no document. There was no one speaking out. And then Alison got fired 2 years later. I mean, I really didn't pay much attention at that point. I think there was a little buzz about it, but it still took it took 5 years after Holly was treated like shit for you people who claim to be her friends to suddenly be like, they treat people horrible. Look what they did to Holly. The f*** out of here, man. You're all lying fakes.
We have a case for people not taking responsibility right there. I mean, you hated being a part of this site, yet you stayed on for years despite it being an increasingly negative experience for you, and you didn't leave when you had the chance. That's kind of on you, isn't it?
He's right. If you go outside and you go to a random street and a man slaps you in the face, and then you go back to that same street at the same time the next day, and he again slaps you in the face, and then you continue to every single day at the same time go to that same street every single day, and the same man proceeds to slap you in the face every single day, and you keep going back, at that point, that is your fault. But you can't say that, because then it's victim blaming. Do you know what? I can't even call these people Gen Zs. They're my lot, aren't they? Millennials. Anyone want to swap them? Oh, okay. Okay, we're going to cover who actually believes in this.
Now, it's not to say that
Why did you keep that in? I don't know. The editing's a bit weird sometimes, man. You leave random things in this video.
I mean, she even says that she remained friends with Doug in upper management, so that clearly indicates to me that she's a rational thinking adult that doesn't take every setback personally. Basically, she says that she worked with Channel Awesome on a comic show from their Kickstarter campaign, and they said that they would pay her an hourly rate, but by hourly, they meant how long she was on the show, and not how long she spent filming the show. So, you know what she did? She did the smart thing. She found another job at IO9 and she left. Good for her knowing her worth. I swear, so many problems in this document would be solved if people just did that. Just got real jobs.
I love this guy. I don't really know why she contributes to the doc. If she's friends with them, though. I mean, that'd annoy me a little bit. Yeah, no, fair play to her.
He just says that management was bad and then he was upset because his girlfriend's artwork was being sold by Channel Awesome and she didn't get a share. That sucks, bro. Sorry you had to deal with that. However, did your girlfriend sign anything entitling her to a share?
Oh, I'm really sorry, but I mean, you should have done it in writing.
Now, the shoot was not a pleasant experience for her at all. She was very cold and hungry and was not thanked or reimbursed for her work. She drove their props and actors around to the shooting locations and had to pay for gas on her own dime. But the biggest issue was her accidentally getting injured on the set when one of the actors stepped on and bruised her knee, and Rob Walker made her sign a liability waiver before getting her ice to put on her injury. Yikes. Well, number one, terribly sorry that had to happen to you. Getting a busted knee is no joke. That is legitimately incompetent and stupid on the company's part, and I can't defend that at all. But number two, it's also very stupid on your part. Why would you sign that? You may have been able to take some kind of action against them if you didn't.
Anytime even think it's going to give him sympathy. Like, he's still a dumbass. But why would you have a stuntman? Like, these things happen on a low-budget independent film. I don't think she could have taken legal action again, because she didn't sign a contract to begin with. If she signed a contract to be on the movie, like, she didn't sign anything to say that she was even in the movie. She just was lumped into it without a contract, so there is no liability. She just volunteered.
She also wonders how it hasn't been the target of a class action lawsuit. Lawsuit? For what? You volunteered your own time and you never signed any contracts, so nothing was officially documented. And the only contract that you did sign stated that they weren't at fault for what happened to you. So what are you going to sue them for?
That's like, it's so true. Like, you're volunteering, you're willingly doing these things, and then you want to sue them. Error 404.
You know, believe it or not, she even admitted to regretting contributing to this document and said that it shouldn't be trusted given the questionable actions its authors demonstrated since it first dropped.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, someone who contributed to this document is telling us not to believe everything in it.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's so funny. I saw firsthand, like, compulsive liars involved in the group. I just struggle to take much of it seriously.
The rest are either A, crybabies who complain about nothing, B, idiots who bring their problems onto themselves, C, bitter failures upset that they're not as popular as the nostalgia critic, or D, all of the above.
He just doesn't give a I don't know what to say. I think I found my new favourite YouTuber. He doesn't give a He's just so casual about it. Crybabies, pussies. Upset they're not famous.
Let's begin with the unnecessary fluff.
Why didn't you cut that out? You reached over to the camera. You keep leaving things in.
Now we'll get into the other people in this document who have so little merit to add that I'm convinced they were given access to it by the curators to complain about anything just to make the document bigger, regardless of how minuscule the issue actually was.
It's true.
Mashab was going to have me fired for criticizing the site. I told him that no, I would quit on my own terms and my own time, or else I would go public with the chat logs I had of their abuse. They were 100% going to fire me for basically saying the site had issues in public at all, but they crumpled like wet cardboard when I told them it wasn't going to happen without me publicly destroying their reputations as much as I could. Okay, well, we'll ignore the fact that this guy pretty much just said the same thing twice in a row, just with different wording. But can we see the chat logs of the abuse you're talking about? No? Nothing? Then I'm afraid you're just talking out of your rear end and you've effectively contributed nothing to this document.
It's so pointless. When I read it, I'm like, alright, you're just saying they abused me. I can't tell you how or why, but trust me.
I mean, nobody knows who you are, but you think you have the ability to end someone's career?
This guy's amazing. Nobody knows it. It's true. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm well known or anything, because I'm not, but these people are trying to campaign against Channel Awesome and no one knows who you are.
He's also mad at Doug for allegedly taking a clip from one of his videos and putting them in his own without asking, which is a bit hypocritical given the fact that you guys review movies, comics, cartoons, and a bunch of stuff that's not yours without asking the owner all the time. I guess he doesn't understand fair use as well as he thinks he does, because it clearly states that you can use copyrighted material for purposes like criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research without the need for permission.
That's what I said!
He also talks about broken promises, which he doesn't elaborate on, says Mike Machado agreed to meet them on Skype and that he claimed he would do what he could to meet their needs, but doesn't explain what those needs were.
Exactly! That happens a lot. They just say, oh yeah, they never go into detail.
C. Farah, Wiki. I have no idea who this is. He just laments that Channel Awesome treated him like a fan. Which, yeah, that's kind of all you were, bro. You weren't even a real content creator. You just edited their wiki.
Oh. Is that it? They just updated the Channel Awesome wiki and they were complaining. Also, they treated us like we were just fans, but isn't everyone just a fan when they join the site?
And not a very good job by the way you describe it. He says sometimes they said they liked us, and then it was found out that the higher-ups did not like the wiki at all. It was strange because they'd say on streams that they liked them when in actuality they did not. I don't know, it just sounds like you weren't very good at what you were brought in to do. There's a big difference between someone liking you as a person but not liking your work.
This is another reoccurring thing throughout the doc. They're just complaining that the videos aren't promoted or anything like that. Or they put all the blame on Doug or Mashad or Rob or Channel Awesome as a whole instead of just thinking maybe your videos aren't good. Why is that not a possibility?
She was told she'd be removed from the site for failure to post 2 videos a month once. She missed a deadline, heard nothing for half a year, posted her content somewhere else, and then they just took her off the site.
You know, they do this throughout as well. Like, we couldn't keep... They make it sound like 2 videos a month is so difficult to do. Is it? Maybe if you're Adeline's Horror World. That's a joke! 2 videos a month is easy! What do you mean? I've got 2 kids, a fiance, a full-time job. Do 4 videos a week.
They start off by saying that they were brought in to make fan art and was overworked by the sheer amount of commissions they accepted, which is their own fault. They made their own show, and they were brought in by Holly Brown, the company's human resources coordinator at the time. We'll get to her.
Hey! You leave Holly alone. Leave Holly alone! I'm showing my age there.
Really, the only grievance this person seems to have is that they felt the prizes for the fan art competitions were underwhelming. Well, what were you expecting? An all-expenses paid trip to Europe?
I don't get why this person's anonymous either. They just want to talk but not... I don't know. Surely Channel Awesome are going to know who it is. I'm sure if you're an avid viewer of Channel Awesome, you might be able to put 2 and 2 together and realise who it is. I don't know.
They even say, I'm glad I moved on from all this. Moved on from what? Nothing happened to you. The company's literally done you no wrong.
Oh, this...
He joined the site back in 2009 and says a few issues began to pop up in his personal life. On the simplest level, it was his senior year of high school. Stress was kicking in as he was focused on school. But what really took his focus away from the site was that he was finally accepting that he was gay, which living in a town of only 5,000 people in rural Illinois is a scary experience. Now, I don't want to make accusations of homophobia and the like toward Channel Awesome, but at the same time, the idea of going to someone like Michaud and saying, hey, I'm having issues with my sexual identity and need some time away from the site to figure things out, certainly didn't sound inviting. However, as I've said, Holly was presented to me like a key member of the team, and she had been open about her own association with the LGBTQ community, so naturally, I discussed coming out with her and made it clear my time would be occupied for a couple of months. Of course, things didn't go as smoothly as I planned. Pretty soon I was faced with the threat of not being allowed to go off to college due to coming out. So what was already a stressful period turned into a threat against my future. As you can probably imagine, creating content for that guy with the glasses was not a main focus at that point. Yet throughout that time period, I remained determined to better my content. I consistently worked on improving my style, but avoided publishing any videos until it was up to the standards of other producers. I became focused on how to make a positively focused series entertaining. I even put quite a bit of money down on a camera. Well, maybe you should have just uploaded what you could when you could. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been god-tier quality content, but at least it would have been content. It might have shown them you were serious about making videos for Channel Awesome at the very least. I mean, how are they supposed to know that you're working on improving your style and spending all this money on a camera and trying to improve your standards if you're not communicating with them?
So I do agree about the communication, but I think some people would rather they perfect the content rather than just put out content for the sake of it. Quality over quantity, he says, making 4 videos a week.
Finally ready to return to that guy with the glasses, I contacted Barga with my improved series ready. However, while getting ready to message him, I happened to look at the website and noticed my videos were no longer in the drop-down menu. Instead of going straight to my new video, I instead brought this up. He claimed that because I hadn't produced anything in several months and hadn't contacted anyone about why, they decided to remove me. I had addressed a few issues. 1. I had contacted someone from the site, Holly. 2. We were all connected on Skype. If they were wondering where I went, they had my contact information immediately available. 3. Additionally, I explained my reason for needing to take time away. So, what, you just told one person and figured that would be enough? Like you weren't even able to stay in contact with them and make sure that you were still on good terms with the site? So you were too scared to talk to the owner of the company about this issue, so you just told one person, then you never contacted them again, and then you left the site for an undetermined amount of time, and then you just expected to be welcomed back with open arms like nothing happened. Are you seriously that naive?
That's a good point. That's a good point. He told Holly. I'm guessing Holly relayed the message. But then you should have stayed in touch with Holly, because if there was a problem, she would have told you. But you didn't. Topher, I had your back, but this guy's speaking sense. I don't like that he's speaking sense.
They entirely ignored the first point. Apparently talking to Holly didn't qualify as talking to the company. I got in a conversation with both Bargob and Rob, where they both consistently belittled the experience I had been going through. Having a rather traumatic experience meant nothing to them. They didn't even offer sympathy. Even if they had still decided not to let me return, they could have at least acknowledged that my situation was rough. So while I don't want to accuse anyone behind Channel Awesome as being outright homophobic, they certainly don't care about the well-being of queer people. No, dude, your sexuality is not their concern. That's none of their business. I mean, you said it yourself. You were clearly going through a rough time in your personal life. You were going through school. You were coming to terms with your sexuality. You were dealing with abusive people outside of the site. You rarely uploaded any videos. And by your own admission, what you did upload wasn't even good or gaining any views. Content creation was not a priority for you, and you could not fulfill your duties to the site. This is on you, man. I mean, this has nothing to do with you being gay. You're just trying to shift blame here.
I don't like it. Oh, this video is a mistake because he's got a point. He's got a point. No, I didn't think of it like that. He literally says, videos aren't my priority. Videos I made weren't good. I vanished for months. What did you expect? To clarify, though, if they did belittle his coming out experience, that's obviously not okay.
I brought up what had happened on Twitter, as I was obviously furious at having had such an abusive conversation with people I had until then looked up to. They then told me that those tweets meant I wouldn't be allowed back on, as if anyone would believe for a second they actually considered it. Okay, so instead of waiting for management to make an informed decision on what to do with you, you just decided to go and make a scene on Twitter and air details of a private conversation in public, so the company saw that you were probably more trouble than you were worth, and they didn't bother reinstating you.
He's right. It's going to be rough when he gets to me, isn't it? I'm going to predict it right now. He's going to be like, these guys aren't your friends. You need to go outside. Get friends. Erod wasn't your friend. I know, Nettles. I know that now. Still not going to go outside, though.
Sorry you had to learn a lesson the hard way, but that's life, man. I also find it hilarious that this dude says he came out of the closet in a rural, overly far-right conservative environment, but the worst memory he has from this time is Channel Awesome management not feeling sorry for him.
It's not funny.
He goes over a bunch of things that Channel Awesome allegedly promised him, stating that there was Skype call, Mashad promised they would be promoted routinely at the top of the site's webpage to draw eyes to their content, and Doug would do a video promoting them and their videos for that week, and it would also be cross-posted with his Nostalgia Critic video for that week. However, it only ended up happening once, and he was upset with how Doug promoted him, stating that Doug talked about anime as if it was beneath him.
You serious?
Yep, you read that right. In a document detailing accounts of abuse and sexual misconduct, a grown man is going to whine about how someone didn't promote anime very well. He says it was like Doug was being forced to do something he had no interest in. You ever think he probably was? I mean, Doug has his own videos to make, dude, and what do you want him to do? Like, hold your hand? Feed you your bottle? Change your diapers?
And most of this, especially because on Twitter as well, they were like, Linkara complained that Doug didn't reply to his Skype message. Erod complained that Doug wouldn't give him his number. I was like, for sake, man. Oh, you're grown adults.
Instead, when it came time for our producer spotlight, we were told that the giveaway was optional, and that if we wanted to do it, we had to arrange it ourselves. There was no sponsorship, simply a free gift card. Oh wow, you mean I actually had to make an effort to promote myself? How dare they?
That's a good point. They just keep complaining that they weren't featured or whatever and blaming Channel. Look, do it yourself.
I would have thought that, as with anything in life, us newest in the fold would have faced the strictest enforcement for violating the rules set out for us. After all, we were the rookies. We were the ones who needed to be made to adapt to their way of doing things since we never had before. Instead, on multiple occasions, Greg, possibly via Mike, doled out the harshest punishments on the veteran producers who, in every case, had never once stepped out of line. As has been well documented, Chaos D1 faced the harshest penalty, being removed from the site for being 1 day late with his second upload for the month, even though he had been with the site for years and had never been late before. Tom White also experienced the same treatment when matters in his private life also caused him to be 1 day late. I cannot fathom how such treatment is justifiable or to any extent even intelligent. Where is the value in demoralizing the producers most loyal to your brand with the most impeccable track records of reliability? What sort of people would blatantly disrespect and demean those who they should ostensibly value? Well, yeah, management is going to be harder on seasoned employees when they make stupid mistakes because they are the most experienced and should know better. They'll go easier on newbies because they're new and are just starting out. That's how a business works.
Yeah. That's common sense. You're in your probation period at work. You've just started a new job and they're like, hey! You know the rules!
In fact, I heard from several smaller producers that they went several months in a row without publishing a video, didn't hear a word from Greg, and remained on the site with no acknowledgement whatsoever. And he gives no examples whatsoever.
That's a reoccurring thing.
While it has become a very apparent reality that Channel Awesome only cares about Doug Walker and his series somewhat recently, this has been the case since we were brought on the site, if not earlier. Yeah, Doug is the face of the company. He has the most popular show. They are going to advertise him the most.
Exactly!
I contacted Greg about this and questioned the purpose of advertising Doug when the overwhelming majority of people coming to the site already did so primarily for him. You just answered your own question, buddy. Doug is the most popular contributor to the site. People come to the site to see him, so they're going to advertise him the most.
Yeah, I see it both ways, because I said in my reaction, like, he makes a good point that if you're going to channelawesome.com, you already know the Nostalgia Critic. So it's a good way to, like, advertise other people. But he also makes a good point, because if you're going to the site for the Nostalgia Critic, you want to see the Nostalgia Critic, so therefore you do have to advertise him. I can see it both ways.
And he doesn't have the excuse of Channel Awesome holding him back anymore. So, I don't know, man, but it looks like the reason you weren't featured was just because your videos simply weren't that interesting.
Oh, he just doesn't pull any punches. Your videos are shit. That's why you're not popular online. Your videos suck.
John Burkhart, Chaos D1.
You know what? After I did my reaction, I found out a fair few things about Chaos D1. And I can't even disclose them. But let's just say, for Change the Channel to put together a Google document detailing abuse and morals with Chaos D1 contributing, just massively hypocritical. And I'm just going to end it there.
Witnessed several contributors get unceremoniously removed from the site after the Blistered Thumbs Channel Awesome merger without directly informing any of them. Had to personally inform one of them myself. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry to hear about that.
The thing is, I can't even tell if he's being genuine sometimes. Like, was that a genuine, I'm sorry to hear that? Was that him sarcastically saying it? My autism is showing.
Had a sudden 1 video per month policy implemented on us, which was later changed to a 2 video per month policy.
Why is that so I can't believe they want us to make 2 videos a month. It's 2 videos! You got 31 days to make 2 videos!
Well, yes, of course. How dare the video production site that I'm partnered with is asking me to produce videos. Removed from scheduled access after being 1 day late with a video due to wife's medical emergencies, despite having provided 4 videos to the site in the previous month and never having missed a regularly scheduled post for over 5 years. Well, you're being a tad disingenuous here because in the chat log you provided, Greg states that you never contacted him to let him know that you couldn't meet the site's monthly quota because of your wife's medical emergencies. And you admit to this. Greg says you only had 1 video for April and never contacted him to let him know that you couldn't get the second video out in time, and you said, my bad on at least not letting you know I had nothing for April.
He disproves himself with his own screenshot. They just banked on people not reading it. But to be fair, I didn't read the screenshot. You're doing the Lord's work, Nettles.
When discussing reinstatement with Greg, was told to wait a few days before reinstating me and claiming it was my 1 strike, only to receive a message several days later via Skype telling me, unfortunately, we are going to part ways with you, without discussing anything with me beforehand. When lamenting the sudden change, was shown a photo of my Twitter account where I asked if anyone still watched me on Channel Awesome as I was recently unlisted, and Greg thought I posted the message out of spite after talking with him and being told to wait, despite it having been posted several hours before our conversation. Well, sounds to me like some lessons can be learned here. Lesson 1, you people really need to stop airing dirty laundry.
You all need to get off Twitter. I'm off Twitter. I learn. You guys get rid of your Twitter accounts.
Choose your words carefully, because you did yourself no favors when you said, I wanted to see if it was worth it trying to stay on.
That is so douchey. If it was worth staying on your shitty little site. Oh, this guy sounds like an asshole. Well, if you knew. He even looks like an asshole. Look at him. Smarmy little dick.
You know, I was shocked yet not surprised, but I knew how defensive they were over their reputation. I was aware of writing, did anyone even know I still listed videos on CA would make them think I was calling their site irrelevant? Why do you think I wrote it that way?
So you deliberately put it online to wind them up, but then you denied it and said it was before you... It was after... It was before your conversation. Make up your mind!
But I never even mentioned them directly in the tweet. Some of the replies didn't even know what CA stood for. California, Canada, Computer Associates. Yet they're so goddamned insecure they made that tweet the deciding factor. Dude, in your last tweet, you literally asked, did anyone even know I still listed videos on CA? Last I checked, you don't list videos to California or Canada or...
These guys chat so much. It's so entertaining.
Oh, and I love the little bitter jab he takes at them at the end here. Burn in your newfound obscurity. Right, and this is coming from the clinically depressed nobody creator and failed YouTuber who had to e-beg for money because he's so broke he couldn't afford to travel to see his own family. And I'm not insulting him, those are all his own words.
God damn!
So this is another man I've never heard of complaining about another man I've never heard of getting kicked off the site.
Wasn't Tom White a referee in WWE? That's Tim White. Is that Tim White?
He also includes a link to a recording of a Skype call that has Mike Bashad's voice in it without his consent, which is a federal crime in 11 states, by the way, so make of that what you will.
I thought it was illegal. How are they getting away with that? Is it illegal in Illinois? It is illegal in Illinois. Jesus. Mashad, press charges.
I'd been talking to Mashad about running a trivia contest on my channel, and he liked the idea. I was going to offer my own prize, but Mashad insisted on using a Sega Genesis he had lying around the office as a prize. I was reluctant because at this point his reputation was that he could be untrustworthy about this sort of thing, but I said sure.
I don't know why I didn't react more to that wording when I reacted to it. Like, he doesn't even explain his change of heart. He's just, I knew he was untrustworthy. But I said sure.
The contest ended, I contacted the winner and got their address. The winner was in Russia, and immediately I was nervous that would make the game system expensive to ship, and I had a feeling Mashad would try to tell me that wasn't the deal or something. So I forwarded the address to Mashad. He didn't bat an eye at the fact that it was in Russia, and told me it would be sent out immediately. I followed up later, and he told me it was sent out. Months went by, and the winner never received the prize. I asked Mashad about it, and he ignored my messages. The winner told me that if it was mailed out, the post office would have given him some kind of customs number, even if there was no tracking information, and asked if I could be provided. I asked Mashad and got no reply. I was in a really difficult position because I didn't want to badly represent Channel Awesome and my boss by telling the winner it's not my fault, but I was given nothing to work with. Eventually, after like 6 months with no prize, I had to apologize to the winner and send him an Amazon gift card instead. Years later, I sent the winner an email again and still no prize. If Mashad actually did deliver the prize as promised, my best guess is that the package got returned and he never said a word to me about it, even after repeated follow-ups. Yeah, sorry pal, but no. Nope. You cannot pile this all on Mike Mashad. This is your fault too. You share part of the blame. This is your contest on your channel, and you made a promise to your fan, and ultimately you are the one who did not deliver. Mashad clearly didn't send the thing out. Okay, so if he's not coming through for you, fix the problem yourself. Stop relying on him. Do something about it. Go to your local flea market or thrift store or pawn shop. Pick up a Genesis there. Or maybe reach out to another gamer on the site and ask them. Or, I don't know, go on eBay. See if you can find one at a cheaper price. I mean, you gotta do something here, man. You could have easily solved this problem yourself.
That's a good point. He waited 6 months instead of just going out and getting a Genesis.
And after all of that, you just gave the guy a gift card? Well, shows how much you care about your own fans.
Oh. The more I watch of this guy, the more nervous I'm getting for when he gets to me.
I contacted Greg to let him know the situation, and I said I think I'd be able to do 2 videos a month during October and November, but because of the move I might not be able to. He said that was fine. Okay, I actually still managed to put out 2 in October as usual and only 1 in November, so I still did alright. In December I finished the first video early in the month, but at the end of the year I ended up not finishing my video until the 30th, but had some issues with the final product that needed to be fixed. Seeing that I needed a little extra time to finish and upload it to YouTube, I scheduled the video for January 1st instead of the 31st. I figured it wouldn't be a big deal because I'd known other producers who had been lax, and I figured since I gave Greg a heads up about my situation, it would be easily understandable that the move was still affecting me. I honestly didn't think he'd even noticed. Yeah, big mistake there, man. Never be lazy.
He just cuts all the bullshit. You're being lazy.
I actually think the only reason I got removed at all was because after I warned them of my move, they were waiting to see if I messed up so they can remove me instantly. Other producers had not produced content in months and never got removed. Okay, and who are they? And sorry, but no, I gotta call BS here, man. You're not being honest. Your chat log contradicts you. You see, he's wording this as though he warned management about his move well in advance and they kicked him off the site anyway. However, he informed them that he would be out of action for 2 months, but it was really 3. And Greg says right there that you never contacted him to let him know that you would be late for a 3rd month. And the big kicker is that this guy doesn't even have an excuse. He says, this is the first misstep since I've been with you guys in 6 years. So he just flat out admitted that he was the one in the wrong.
You're not supposed to read the screenshots, Nettles. They say one thing, then post a screenshot which says the opposite.
This whole bit is disingenuous. It basically sounds like he fell into the same problem that Chaos D1 had. Like he got too lazy with his duties and figured they wouldn't enforce the rules as hard as he thought, but they did, and it caught him off guard. That's not abuse. That's the company being strict with their rules and you being lax with them.
These people think everything is abuse. They throw that word around. Like, even if someone's slightly rude, they say it's abuse.
Did anybody proofread this? I mean, this isn't new information. You're literally padding this whole thing out with stuff I already know just to make it longer.
Great, and part 2 is my best friend. That was a lot of fun. This Nettles is great. He doesn't pull any punches, he says what he thinks, doesn't hold back, and he calls these people out on their bullshit. Well played. And he's also shone some light on certain things I didn't really think of, like the thing with Topher. I didn't think of it that way, so he's kind of enlightened me. So I am excited but slightly nervous to get to what he thinks of me. Anyway, I hope you guys like this. And if you don't, you're still going to watch it, and then I'm going to make more. So yeah, see you next time. And just for you, Nettles, I'm going to keep it in where I lean forward. You like this? You like this? I'm going to lean forward. Yeah!